everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's time for another Life in London vlog. I have some really exciting things going on this weekend that I thought I would turn into a little vlog. First and foremost, we are going to the Tate Modern Museum to see the Cezanne exhibition. I am so excited for this. I really enjoy Cezanne's art and I've heard it's great. And then tomorrow, I've got a Galentine's Day brunch with some of my girlfriends at the Ivy in Soho. So that's always a really fun time. The food is great, so I'm gonna take you through there. And then, yeah, we'll see what else we get up to. Whatever else ends up in this is a little bit of a bonus. So if that sounds good, come and join me for a few fun days and let's go, starting with the Tate Modern Museum. So we started our day at the Tower Hill Underground Station and it looks out on the Tower of London, which I've actually never been to, but was a royal palace, also a very notorious prison, and it's also home to the crown jewels. So leave a comment down below if you've been and let me know if it's worth it, because I know you can do tours of it and it's something, despite living here for 8 years, that I still haven't done. So sharing is caring. Let me know if you think it's worth prioritizing on my London wish list. Then from there, we turned the corner and walked across the famous Tower Bridge. Now, this is not to be confused with London Bridge. Tower Bridge is actually the more kind of famous looking ornate one. And it's beautiful to walk across. It's one of those kind of pinch me moments when you get to look out across the Thames and just enjoy kind of the sights. You really feel like you're in London. And actually, fun fact, you can do tours of Tower Bridge as well. So again, leave a comment down below and let me know if it's worth it, because I actually did see people queuing up for tours on our walk over, and it reminded me I need to put that back on my London kind of travel wish list. But from there, we decided to enjoy a lovely long stroll along Southbank and walk to the Tate Modern. This makes for such a great walk. It was a very cold and gray, gloomy day, but even on that kind of day, we really thoroughly enjoyed our walk. So next up, we went to the Cezanne exhibition at the Tate Modern. And I think I might be a little bit late to the party here, but the exhibition started in October of 2022 and runs until the 12th of March in 2023, which is why I wanted to get this video up sooner versus later, because you can still catch the tail end of it and I would highly recommend it. The exhibition itself is free for members, and if you are a non-member, you can just book through the Tate Modern website, which I will leave linked down below, and it's £22 per person. Now, this is where they got me, because I realized that it just made more sense to buy a membership than to buy tickets, because the benefit of becoming a member is that you don't have to pick a time slot. You can just show up anytime. Now, not every paid for exhibition at the Tate Modern follows this policy, but it seems like a lot of them do. And because I was going with a friend, this was our kind of birthday gifts to each other, I told her I would get the membership where you could bring a friend with you, because there's a couple different types of memberships, and I'll leave a link down below. This is not sponsored, I'm just sharing this as a tip. I figured if I wanted to bring a friend to a ticketed exhibition at the Tate, and I went to 3 of them and say the tickets were £22 each, which would be 44 for 2. Basically going 3 times in the year would pay for the membership. So, and to be fair, I could also just go on my own as much as I want. So for someone who loves art, seemed like a no-brainer. So yes, the exhibition does end soon, but I highly recommend it. There's 11 different rooms within the exhibition to explore, so definitely give yourself a few hours of time to enjoy this. I also strongly recommend doing the audio guide. You actually can just load it up on your phone and download it, which makes it so easy because you can self-guide, pause. You don't have to use kind of shared equipment. All you need is make sure you bring a set of kind of headphones or earphones. So that way you can, because nobody wants anyone to be that person blasting the audio guide and annoying everyone, right? Super easy to do. It's free. There's no extra charge for that. So the exhibition itself was fantastic. You come into the first room and there's a quote on the wall which says, "With an apple, I will astonish Paris." And this is apparently what Cezanne once claimed, and astonished he did. He's incredibly famous for many different types of impressionist style artwork, and I found the exhibition such a joy to explore. So a few fun facts about Cezanne. I know that not everyone who watches my channel is based in London or will get to London in time for the exhibition, so I thought I would share a few interesting things about the artist and things I learned in the exhibition that might be something educational for you as well. So Cezanne was born in 1839. He is from Aix-en-Provence, which I have been to and is a stunning place to go and explore. Highly recommend it if you've never been. And the exhibition itself is structured in two halves. So the first half looks at Cezanne in the context of his time and his life, his relationships, and the creative circle that surrounded him. And boy, was it a fabulous creative circle. And the second half of the exhibition represents groups of work around particular themes, like his still lifes, the studies of bathers, and some of his incredible landscape artworks. So interestingly, when Cezanne was in Paris, he cultivated a reputation for himself as an outsider from Provence, which was very kind of opposed to kind of fashionable metropolitan tastes. His artwork was considered very ballsy and raw for the time, and apparently he had a disregard for the bourgeois morality, which really set him apart. And what I thought was interesting as well is a lot of his artworks also alluded to society's discrimination against women, as well as a preoccupation with their changing roles in public life. So Cezanne did do a series of family portraits. He was with a woman named Marie Hortense Fiquet, and I'm sorry for my French pronunciation, but apparently their being together was a bit controversial. They were not married. She was defying social conventions from her middle-class upbringing being with Cezanne, and she did remain his lifelong companion and model, and they did actually have one son together named Paul. One of my favorite parts of the exhibition was the series on L'Estaque called Between the Sea and the Mountains, and this is a place that Cezanne knew from his youth in Provence, and it's a coastal village. It's located on the Bay of Marseille, close to Aix-en-Provence, and apparently he would go there with his partner, and he also went there to avoid being drafted into the war, but painted over 40 different paintings kind of documenting this beautiful seascape. And having been to this area of Provence, not this specific town, I really understand kind of the vibe and the style of artwork, and I just loved that area, so I really enjoyed seeing it. Interestingly, Cezanne's most internationally appreciated landscapes come from Mont Sainte-Victoire, which is a mountain landscape outside of Aix-en-Provence. And I also loved this series as well. It nostalgically took me back to my travels in that mountainous region, and specifically to Roussillon. Even though he didn't paint that town, he did paint a lot of other areas with the famous ochre pigments of paint, which also to me was quite nostalgic given my travels in that region. And you actually can see my Roussillon video much further down my channel, even though I really butcher a lot of the pronunciation, so apologies in advance. And then from there, we left the Tate Modern, but not before having a lovely browse around the gift shop and stopping into the cafe for some much needed water. The Tate is always a great visit. And we decided that we were actually going to then walk across the Millennium Bridge, which is so beautiful at night. I highly recommend this. You have gorgeous views of St. Paul's Cathedral, and if you look out across the Thames, you just see the most magical lights from all the high-rise buildings. So you see kind of all the famous London kind of big, tall buildings, but then the way the lights were glittering on this evening with purples and reds and the normal kind of yellowish hues was just remarkable, and was a great way to finish the evening before we went for drinks with our friends, which I did not film because there were way too many people there to capture that, so apologies, but it was a really great day. And again, links down below in the description box if you want to get more information on visiting the Tate Modern for the Cezanne exhibition. Hello everyone, it's Sunday. Little overcast in London. We always have to start with a little weather chat, but I've got a really lovely Sunday planned, and I am actually first gonna go, well, I'm going to Soho. We've got a Galentine's Day brunch with my girlfriends at the Ivy in Soho, which is just a lovely restaurant chain that's all across, I think, London and so many other parts of the UK. And the food there is just fantastic. It's such a great brunch spot. So yes, we have Galentine's Day on the menu today. But as I'm gonna be in Soho, I'm also gonna stop at the H&M, which is right next to Oxford Street, because they do clothing recycling. And I've got an entire bag of clothing that I just cannot donate. It's stained, it's holes, it's damaged. So any kind of textile that you think is something you just kind of can't donate, reuse, pass on in any other way, you can bring to H&M for recycling. And what they do as a thank you is they give you a £5 voucher on your H&M app. So I've been kind of piling things up and I'm ready to go drop it off. So we're gonna do that first, and then we're gonna go to brunch, and there's going to be a lovely long walk after, but I'm not sure if we're gonna have daylight or not, so let's see if that makes it in. If it makes it in, it means we snuck it in before the sunset. So off we go. Yep, so for context, this is the bag that I have of just old, stained, mucky kind of bits of textiles and, you know, stained pillowcases and things that are just not fit for reuse, but can be kind of cleaned up and turned into new clothing, which is great. So off we go. Started my day by doing the clothing recycling at H&M in Oxford Street, and I was a very bad vlogger because I meant to film some shots of like traveling there, but I forgot, and then I was very overwhelmed by the foot traffic. It's Saturday or Sunday, and oh my god, there's so many people out in Oxford Circus. But I got there, I entered the queue at H&M and waited my turn, and then just simply dropped off the bag, and they just have you scan. You have to have the H&M app and make sure you're signed up for the app. And like the rewards program, I think, and then they scan it, and the voucher, I think you have to have a minimum spend. Let me check. Yeah, so I'm just looking at my phone now, and it's £5 off your next purchase over 25. So you do still have to spend something to get the £5 off, but to be fair, if H&M is a store that you like to shop at, or for example, like the kids things are great for gifts, into the home section is excellent as well for gifts or things for your home. So I always find a way to spend £25 at H&M, so not too shabby. So I did that, super easy, and it was so cute. The sales associate actually like ran up to me after I had done my transaction with her, and she's like, by the way, you don't have to queue when you come to do clothing donation. And I thought that was so sweet, but also, if you know British culture, is a bit terrifying, because imagine someone just cutting the queue and basically cutting everyone in line and going straight up to do this. Oh my gosh, the dirty look she would get. I don't know if I can do that, but that's what she told me. So yeah, that went really well. And then I made my way down to the Ivy Soho. And another great tip when you're walking around London is Google Maps will just kind of usually send you on these super busy roads, like they'll have you walk the whole length of Oxford Street or Regent Street or whatever. And I looked at the walking path to the Ivy Soho and was like, oh, we can do so much better than this. So I started by walking down Argyle Street, I think it is, which you get that beautiful view of Liberty of London, the department store, which if you've never been in Liberty of London, definitely go inside and check it out. It's so cool. If you want me to go film in there at some point, some of the beautiful like things you can buy there. It is a luxury department store, but it's like a work of art inside. Leave a comment down below because I'd be happy to do that in a future vlog. And then I turned the corner over to the famous Carnaby Street, which is famous from the London swinging 60s day. And it's also, there's all these great kind of, I guess, more well-known brands and boutique shops on Carnaby Street as well. So it's always a delight to go stroll through there, see the decorations that they have hanging up at the moment, and just see, you know, do a little window shopping, so to speak. And if you're hungry, go bop into Kingly Court because there's some great restaurants in there as well. And then I made my way then to the Ivy Soho, which was just a few minutes from there. And the Ivy is, as I mentioned, it's this really great restaurant chain that has locations all over London and other parts of the UK. The menu really doesn't change that much. It's very consistent, so I think I've tried so much of the menu at this time. But all of the interiors are decorated so beautifully, and I think the prices are very reasonable for a London meal out, which is why it's always really good for groups, or if you've got a lot of finicky eaters. I always feel like there's something for everyone. And, you know, even things like vegetarian, vegan, gluten-free, they're really good with those kind of modifications. They actually have special menus that you can scan a QR code if you want the access to those special menus. So because we actually arrived and they were having a problem with their grill, so none of the Sunday roasts or like beef options were there. Not that I really wanted that anyway. So I decided to go for the avocado Benedict, which, I mean, you know, Sunday brunch to me, being an American, is some sort of egg dish. And I do wish the Ivy had more than just eggs Benedict kind of egg dishes. I think they would really do well with modifying to have like an omelet or, you know, even like scrambled eggs, toast kind of situation. But anyway, I had the avocado Benedict, which comes with the side of thick, chunky chips, which we Americans would call French fries, but they're like the very chunky ones. And yeah, I decided to have my hollandaise on the side, always like it that way. And it was just simple pleasures. I could only finish half of the chips. The portion was really good for me. I also ended up having a almond milk cappuccino with that. And then after we finished all of our brunch options, we decided we were gonna have some cocktails because some of the girls were asking, oh, should we have dessert? And I was thinking, I might rather have a liquid dessert. So a couple of us got cocktails, a couple of girls got desserts and coffees, and I ended up getting this mango colada. So not like you would think like a pina colada in the US. It's more like, almost like a mango mojito-esque drink. It was very good, definitely on the sweet side because I've been cutting out a lot of unnecessary sugar in my diet. So I was just like, woo! But it was really good, and it was just such a lovely day out with the girls. So would definitely recommend that. There was no special Galentine's Day menu or anything. We just wanted to have a kind of girls brunch out, and we branded it as Galentine's Day. So with that said, that wraps up this edition of my Life in London travel vlogs. I really hope you enjoyed seeing what I get up to in London. If you did like this video, please hit that like button. That really helps my channel. Leave a comment down below if you have anything to share about the Cezanne exhibition, any great brunch spots to go with your girlfriends in London, or any other kind of great London must-see, must-do tips. Sharing is always caring here on this channel, and please subscribe. I have lots more travel vlogs and life in London adventures to share with you. I'm busy editing the next video already, so thanks again so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon.